For more than 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter in our community. From our studios in St. Clair, you're watching Focus with Paul Dingeman.
Well, welcome to another edition of the Focus program. My name is Paul Dingeman. Glad to have you along. 2020, isn't it amazing? It just snuck up on us, and it's already here. We've got a very interesting show lined up for you today. Paul Napper, an author who has come up with a book by the name of The Agency, all about agency. We'll talk with Paul and a little later in this program. But first, we're going to hear from Judy White, who is really active person in 2020 already. She's had a nice story in the Times Herald the other day about her favorite project, City Hall, Old City Hall in Marine City. Judy, welcome to 2020. Welcome to the show. Nice
Thanks,
to see
Paul.
you again.
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year. And
Happy
all that
New
kind
Year
of good
to you,
stuff.
too.
You have had this nice story that was in the Times Herald
Indeed.
about
Yep.
what's coming up and what's going on at a great building in Marine City.
Wonderful building in Marine City, and thank goodness we're making some progress with it. We had, I think, a very successful year in 2019, a very productive year, and we accomplished so much. We gutted the building of the extraneous false walls and false drop ceilings and all of that. We got rid of some wiring in that building that dated back, some of it to the 19th century.
Oh my God.
Oh, and it was all very confused, like birds' nests up underneath it. A fellow from Marine City, Greg Guffett, did that work, and he did a wonderful job. We took it back to the brick in most instances, and we're going to preserve that look of the exposed brick as we restore the building. We got a new gas line installed. We discovered that the old water line was inadequate to serve the building and the intended fire suppression system. So we had to find a company to do a new water line for us. We did. And then we discovered that, of course, we had to have a drawing for that. So we found a company to do the drawing. And they said to us, we need a site plan or a survey of City Hall property in order to do this. I said, well, I'll contact the city.
Right.
So I gave a call to the city, and the city said, we'll get back to you. And they did. They had no site plan or no survey anywhere in their files.
The building originally was built in
1884.
1884, and there was no site plan.
No site plan, no survey.
Wow.
Now, there might have been one, might have been lost.
Yeah.
Possibility. But I was astonished. I was just really stung when I heard that. We went to Joe Vaglica, who's our architect. He is the owner of Gateway Engineering Services. And Joe had done the drawing for the interior restoration of the building. So we contacted him. His company also does surveying. So he did an emergency survey for us and cranked out a beautiful survey and a drawing for the water line. We have found a company that's going to do that water line. That company is also going to do the fire suppression system for the building. So we're really very well set there. In order to do the fire suppression, though, you have to have heat in the building.
Oh, so the pipes won't freeze.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where Ray Skatarczyk comes in.
Ex-mayor.
Ex-mayor of
Good guy.
Marine City. Oh, he's a hero. He's absolutely a hero, and extremely generous because Ray gave us a heating system.
Oh my God! And to heat that whole building, that's got to be a huge system.
Yes. That was a lovely gift. So he gave us not only the equipment, the duct work, the labor.
Wow.
Yeah.
And everybody now is so busy that to do it when you're busy is even a bigger gift.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
amazing.
So we've got the heat. We will have the water. The question is, where do we go from there? All of this costs money, and we've been really working hard to raise money. all throughout 2019, we had jars out on counters in businesses in Marine City. That's a steady amount of small money that always comes in.
Right.
We take, donations and other kinds of gifts. We do fundraising dinners. We've done them at the Riviera, and this coming April we'll do one at Marine City Fish Company. Toward the end of the month. And then at the end of this month, we will do our big dinner dance fundraiser, which is the Blue Denim Ball.
That's a fun one.
And this year, it's going to be at Rivertown Event Center on King Road in Marine City. We also work charity poker, and we do 4 events a year. We make approximately $16,000 doing that.
Oh my God.
So it's worth it, doing that. So on top of that, we write for grants. In 2019, we got a grant from Michigan Council for the Arts and Cultural Affairs, and which was the largest grant we had gotten so far, and that was $36,000. We got an operational grant from Gannett Foundation and the Detroit Free Press. And then a month ago, we got an anonymous grant for $50,000.
$50,000.
It's the largest grant we've had.
Marvelous, absolutely marvelous.
Absolutely that. That money made it possible to do the things that I just described to you. We have another, it's called a letter of intent, which is out there to the Wilson Foundation.
Okay.
Letter of intent tells them what we want to do with the building and how much money we want, and I have not heard back from them yet, but I've got my fingers crossed.
They have just done wonderful things in the city of Buffalo and the city of southeastern Michigan and Detroit.
Right.
With the money that Mr. Wilson left.
Yes.
I think there's $2 billion or something like that that has to be given away in 20 years, but they've got a really interesting problem. And their problem is that their money is making so much money waiting to be given away that they now have more money to give away than they originally started with.
Maybe I should have asked for more.
That's right. You probably go back, ask for another one.
Yeah,
Change your name.
I asked for a little over $250,000 because our next goals are to make the building ADA compliant.
Yep.
It is not.
Right.
There's one door into the building that is barrier free, and after that it's a problem. So what we need to do is put in a porch lift or platform lift just inside the fire door entrance, by the tower, the hose tower. The main floor is about 4.5 feet higher than ground level, so there's a half flight of stairs there. So you have to have a porch lift for anybody in a wheelchair or someone infirm. $15,000 for the porch lift itself is the general market price. Another $10,000 to $15,000 to do the necessary carpentry to install it, because we're going to have to bust out some stuff and do a lot of construction. That will get people up to the main level. It won't get people up to the second floor. Ultimately, we want to restore the second floor as a performance center. And so we need an elevator. And the elevator has to serve basement, main floor, and, the second floor. The drawings call for installing the elevator inside the building.
Okay, yeah.
So this is, I'm guessing, well over $150,000 to do that. That's my personal estimation of what it's going to run. With those things installed, the next critical thing would be bathrooms. There are no bathrooms or water service at all in the building right now. Part of that sort of gutting of the building that we did entailed removing the old toilets and the old stalls dating back to 1910 or in the beginning there were no toilets in the building at all. There was an outhouse. on the north side of the building someplace. And I hope one day we'll find out where, because outhouses used to be a place to throw stuff away.
Yeah.
And it'll be loaded with interesting artifacts.
Yeah.
That sort of got me away from the topic, but anyway.
But what is happening is that you are progressing day by day.
Yes.
And
Yes.
with Ray Starchik's wonderful gift and Gateway Engineering, and other people are coming to the plate and finally recognizing what you guys are doing.
Yes.
And it's getting to become believable.
It is. Yeah, it doesn't look like a pipe dream so much anymore.
Right.
And I think,
You're still not running, but you're taking good walking steps.
right, we're still quite a distance from being able to reach the goal of opening that building as a rental venue and performance center. I think if we had the barrier-free aspect and we had some toilets in there, I think we'd go ahead and open, even though it wouldn't be pretty.
People would understand.
Exactly. If you think back to Orchestra Hall and the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, when they acquired that building, they fixed the roof, they stopped the leaks, they repaired a rotten spot in the stage where water had dripped and rotted out the wood, and they sold tickets and started performing.
Yeah.
And people just put up with it because the acoustics were so wonderful, and being back in that important building was so exciting. So I think we
had 134,000 people go through that building in 2019.
Really?
I just got the email just the other day. 134,000 people used that building, and as you said, it was going to be torn down.
Yes.
It was going to be torn down.
Yeah.
So.
When I was a student at Wayne State, which was 9 million years ago, that building was abandoned. And one of my student friends, who shall be nameless, found a way to sneak into the building and went in there with flashlights and came back and told us with great excitement, it's a golden horseshoe. It's a golden horseshoe. Yeah. And indeed, now it is.
Yeah.
You know.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to your building. You've got a couple things coming up, and let's, if Jared will throw up the PowerPoint there, or the slide. There we go. This is your web page. Friends of City Hall, and people can get to it just by going to friendsofcityhall.com.
That's it.
Okay. And you got the grand award explained here, and but the Blue Denim Ball is coming up shortly.
Yes.
And how do I get tickets and what's going? Oh, the Marine East China Community Big Band is going to be there.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
That's a 20-piece orchestra, and I should point out, they volunteer their services. They don't cost us a cent, and they're the highlight of this evening.
And there's not a person in that 20-piece band that doesn't love to play music.
Well, that's certainly true. That's certainly true. Absolutely. And they're good at it,
Yeah.
on top of it. So for tickets, you can go to the Sweet Tooth. You can go to the Vera Grace and Etta May, which has moved next door to the Sweet Tooth.
Yeah, I saw that just the other day.
Yeah,
That'd be a
in
nice
fact,
space for them.
I think it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
And Donna is so brilliant as a businesswoman. At any rate, Jesse White at Marine City Gunsmith has tickets. The manager at Rivertown Event Center has a book of tickets also to sell. And if people just contact me.
Or they can go to friendsofcityhall.com.
Yes, we sell through Eventbrite on the website.
Okay. Well, this is your website, and if anybody wants to go on there, they can look at the history about who you people are, why you people are so excited, or sometimes crazy, right?
Oh, God. A little of both.
Historical pictures, let me just click on that one. There was some historical pictures of people that you had. There's Ray right there, isn't it?
Yes, in fact, what you're looking at from a few years back was when Ray and Denise were remarried in the bandstand.
Renewed their vows.
Yes.
That's
and
great.
They were in costume, and the dress that Denise is wearing is authentic.
Oh.
I can't remember exactly where we borrowed it from, but It's
Well,
the real deal.
interesting, these are the architects that built the building.
Yeah,
It's an interesting webpage.
That's George DeWitt Mason, and what you're looking at beneath him is the very first house he worked at as an assistant to a professional architect in Detroit.
Oh,
And it has been beautifully restored, and it is known that some of the decorative work that you see there in the stone is things that he drew, and he was approximately 16 years old.
oh, at the time. Wow.
Yeah, he
amazing.
was a very exceptional young person. So,
Well, it's a great website and a great project, and it's you've certainly been beyond the words of labor of love. It's more than that. I can't think of another.
maybe the word is obsession.
Well, we're glad you're obsessed,
Thank you.
and the rest of your crew, and you're just doing a great job.
Thank you very
Judy
much.
White is her name. She's a great person in our area, in the Blue Water area. Very fortunate to have her on this project. She said she's obsessed with it, but that's totally fine. Totally fine. We'll be back with our next guest in just a minute. Joining us now is an author from the Boston area who's got some wonderful connections here in the St. Clair Blue Water area. Paul Napper, welcome to the Focus Set. Nice to see you, sir.
Thanks so much for having me.
Heard about you over the years from your dad, and you've got some very interesting work background, and you've just completed writing a book called The Power of Agency. Your dad gave me a copy of it. We had a chance to peruse it and look it over, and we thought we better get you in here and talk about it and talk about you. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
The book is has a subtitle of the 7 Principles to Conquer Obstacles, Make Effective Decisions, and Create a Life of Your Own Terms. It's a big sentence.
It's a mouthful,
Lots of stuff. Tell me what agency is.
Well, what I like to say about agency is it's the most important thing that you've never heard of.
Okay.
So agency is our capacity as human beings to make good choices in our lives. So it affects everything we do each and every day, and in many ways we can describe ourselves as being the sum total of all the decisions we make over the course of our lives, big and small. Now obviously the big decisions matter more than the smaller ones, and where agency comes in, it is here. Our capacity to make good quality decisions, again, determines the life, our life. And when we do a better job at that, we have higher levels of agency, of personal agency. So I wrote the book along with my co-author to help address modern day overwhelm, where we've got people today feeling a lot of overwhelm, and there's some very specific reasons why. So we wanted to dive into that and try to understand, why are people feeling so overwhelmed, and what's the effect of that on their lives, and how to help them.
One of the things that pops out is a term called control stimuli. You indicate that there's all sorts of stuff going on around us, cell phones and computers, et cetera, et cetera. Is that a big part of the book?
That's an important part of what's changed in our society over the last 20 to 30 years. We are all in a state of mental overload.
Correct.
So we're being exposed to enormous quantities of information today.
Yep.
And all kinds of different people and institutions are trying to influence us in terms of how we think, trying to influence us to make decisions that, may part with our money, and basically all kinds of influences coming in each and every day, trying to sway our thinking in one direction or another. And for a lot of people, this is very overwhelming, for the majority of people. And so one of the places we want people to start in terms of developing higher levels of agency is to think about all the stimulation you're exposing yourself to and exercise better self-control, self-management in terms of the amount of stimulation you expose yourself to. Because when your brain is overloaded, you don't have a fighting chance at making a good quality decision. That's just business, the first order of business. So we basically say to people, when you manage better what comes into your brain, the outputs are a lot better coming out of your brain. And so for us all to be better decision makers in our lives, we got to start with where and how do we get information, how much information do we expose ourselves to, and really, last thing we want is to get overwhelmed.
That goes back to the original thing, garbage in, garbage out.
That's exactly right.
Of computers when people first started
That's
using
exactly like that. It's exactly right. There's a software term, and it
Yeah.
applies to our brains as
Right.
well. If we let too much garbage in, and it's kind of the equivalent to junk food. And
Yeah.
we all I was at McDonald's earlier today. We all eat fast food on occasion. Hopefully not every meal. But if we take in information that's not high quality information, also, to your point, garbage in, garbage comes out. We don't end up making the best decisions.
You talk about associate selectivity. What's that one?
Yeah, that's the second principle of agency. So the first is control stimuli. The second is associate selectively. This is one of the most important things that anyone can do in their lives. Because this is who you surround yourself with. And so especially your close inner circle, you want to be around people. You want to surround yourself with people who are intelligent, who are supportive, who are encouraging, people who help you to learn new information, people who challenge you, but also people who generally are there when you need them. If you have people around you who are not supportive, who tear you down, who are negative, or worse, even worse, abusive, your level of agency or your level of personal power in your life is going to decline dramatically.
One of the things I heard you say in one of your seminars was you got to get up and move every once in a while.
Yeah.
You can't sit at your desk for hours and hours and hours in front of that boob tube, in front of that screen. You've got to be active.
That's exactly right. I mean, for us to have high levels of personal agency in our lives, to have full access to our power, we need to move. And this is not just about physical movement, right? It's in a classic sense of exercise, although exercise is very important, but it's all kinds of movement. So sometimes it's just, taking a walk for 10 minutes or doing a brief stretch in your office or using a stand-up desk, or it's all kinds of physical movement, but it's not even limited to that. We call this third principle move, but it also involves the food you eat. Are you eating high quality food? Because if your brain requires an enormous quantity of energy in order to work efficiently. And a lot of people don't realize that. And so if you're getting better nutrition, better quality nutrition, your brain is going to function better. So it's also the third leg of the stool is the amount of sleep, the amount of rest you get. Okay. The average American today is sleep deprived, right? Mm-hmm. Is shaving an hour or two off each night. Over time, that affects the quality of your decision making. It also can lead to a lot of chronic health problems, which we're seeing obviously today in America to a large extent. Lots of chronic health problems. So this whole move principle of agency is really about taking care of the physical part of yourself, because you can't expect yourself to make good quality decisions if you're not taking care of your physical body, because we're an integrated system. Our minds are connected to our bodies. So when we're taking good quality care of our bodies, our minds are going to work better.
The Power of Agency is available Amazon, everywhere?
Everywhere books are sold. So yeah, Amazon has it. In fact, there's a special coming up, I think starting January 1, hardcover. Amazon is going to be putting it on special for a week at $2.99.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's a great deal.
Yeah.
Normally I think it's $18.99. So it's a really great deal. They just wanted to do kind of what they call a new year, new you special. Okay. So they put it on the list.
Your work, you go to industries and companies and governments and talk to them, advise them. Is that what you do?
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. I work with business leaders. So I basically work as an executive coach. So I generally work with high-level executives. And I find in my work with those people who you think would be on top of the world, believe it or not, a lot of them feel overwhelmed as well.
I totally
right?
agree with you.
So this whole idea of overwhelm, and we actually, my co-author and I coined the term, that we are living in the age of overwhelm right now in American society. And it cuts across every single group of within the population. So from the folks that seem like they have it all, those folks are overwhelmed, to the people at the bottom rungs of who are struggling each and every day. Those people are clearly overwhelmed as well. So the whole idea of the book was to give people the tools to become more powerful in their lives, and primarily through making better quality decisions.
We've talked about the first 3. There are 7. Continue.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've covered the first 3, which we call the behavioral principles. The behavioral principles are ones that you can just utilize through changing some of your behaviors. The 4 last principles we call cognitive principles. They involve how you think. And so they involve your thinking and how you feel. So the first one within the cognitive principles is called position yourself as a learner. Okay. Position yourself as a learner means actively position yourself to learn each and every day. Ask a lot of questions, learn how to become a really great question asker in your life, learn where to go for reliable information, surround yourself with people you can learn from. Also, we talk about learn how you learn best. Some people learn through doing. Mm-hmm. Some people learn through reading and study. Some people learn from picking up the phone and calling 10 different people and asking them questions. We all learn in different ways, and usually most of us have a preferred mode. Mm-hmm. It's helpful if you know what your best learning mode is. This whole idea of position yourself as a learner is the whole idea of actively positioning yourself to learn. And why it's so important is because the way our society is set up today, it's all about your capacity to learn, to adapt and to learn. And so when you focus on this as a core thing you do in your life, things will work better.
So it's a good read. It's a quick read. I mean, it's an enjoyable book, and people probably read a little bit and put it.
Yeah, there's a little mini test in the beginning, so you can find out which of the 7 principles you're best at. You can then zero in on those few principles that you really need to beef up your skills on and focus in that. So we recommend people do that. There's a lot of stories in the book about different people and things they've done, and so just to illustrate examples. So yeah, it's generally, most people have said it's a very fun book to read and a very easy book to read.
Let's talk about websites, and we mentioned Amazon and other booksellers, but what's your website?
Yeah, the website is powerofagency.com. There's a lot of information there on what agency is, and information about the book, and all kinds of podcasts that we've been on. My co-author, Anthony Rayo, Dr. Anthony Rayo, he works with children and families. So between the two of us as psychologists, we kind of cover the gamut. He works with the kids and the parents. I work with business leaders, and he sees the same thing in his practice. So we both wrote this book to try to help people to get more control of their lives and learn how to make better quality decisions.
It's so important, and as you alluded to, there's so much going on with us every day, and so much influx of news and stuff around us that we need to take some time and think.
That's right, and I think taking the time, you mentioned something really important, Paul, which is for much of us, we're not taking adequate time to think things through, to reflect on things. And as we've, as our society has become, inundated with more and more information, and things have been speeding up, people feel they don't have the time, or they're not taking the time to reflect. Right. And when you have to make an important decision, the first place to start is to take adequate time to make that decision. So thank you so much for having me. This has been terrific.
Oh, it's been fun. And a pair of Pauls.
Yeah.
Pair of Pauls.
Thanks again.
We'll be right back. Welcome back, and we are also welcoming back for 2020, Deb Johnson.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, darling. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
The year of 2019 had some interesting things happen for all of us above and below and everywhere else. And now we're moving on to a fresh new start.
Right, brand new decade.
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah.
So, with every new year, people tend to make resolutions.
Yes.
Although, you can make them any day any day of the year. Set goals for yourself. I think that that's a good thing. I was sharing on the Paul Miller show that I have this sign in my house. It's actually a piece of artwork, but it says every day is an opportunity to change your life.
Yep.
So that's true. But, typically around the first of the year, they say for New Year's, my New Year's resolution is to do whatever. In fact, about 45% of Americans make New Year's resolutions. And out of the 45% that make them, about only 10% are successful. So why is that? Well, I don't know. But I can give tips for setting like realistic goals for yourself, and even I Googled two things. Like I always do a little research before I come on the show, and the Harvard Medical School said, they had an article and it was interesting because they actually said set a big goal. Big goals are compelling, but really, what they meant though is so maybe you have a big goal and then break it down. So what's the first thing you're going to do to achieve? So let's say if you want to
take it step by step.
Yeah, step by step. So if you want to lose 50 pounds, well, you're not doing it in a week or even a month. Mm-mm. So you say, so maybe for the first month, my goal is to lose 10 pounds or something like that, 8 pounds, I don't know. So break it down into realistic, achievable steps. Congratulate yourself when you get to those, when you achieve the steps the goals that you set, even if they're little baby goals, things like that. But another thing is, I read another thing on 23 healthy New Year's resolutions that you could actually keep. So you don't have to be like all or nothing kinds of things. So maybe if you want to have a healthier you in 2020, you could eat more whole foods. You could try to sit less, move more. So if you have a sit-down desk job, try to make sure you're getting up. Wear a Fitbit. It'll tell you, hey, time to take a walk.
Yeah.
Get up and do things. Maybe you want to cut back on sugar or sweetened beverages. So that's not an all or nothing. I'm not going to say I'm never going to drink anything with sugar again.
No,
but
that's not. You got to be
realistic,
practical about it. Yeah.
Right. This is always good advice for everybody: is try to get some good quality sleep. Maybe you're not getting enough sleep because that can affect so many things. And find a physical activity that you like. I mean, we've talked often about the benefits of physical activity on your mental, emotional health. As we continue to talk about integrated healthcare, you need to take care of your whole body, physically and mentally. So physical activity is one of the best things. Exercise releases endorphins. Endorphins make you happy, so make you feel better. So things like that. And even it could be a little thing like taking a walk, just getting outside, just do anything that's a little more physical. A great one for all of us to remember is to try to reduce our screen time, because it's funny. We were talking about this earlier too. That sometimes you'll be watching TV and then you have your phone and you're checking stuff on your phone and you're like,
you're
really?
doing both.
Yeah, you're watching TV. Why don't you just?
And there's somebody sitting next to you that you haven't talked to in 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. So put the phone completely in another room or something, and just try to reduce your screen time. Although that is, I said it's a hard thing because I have my email on there, all kinds of stuff, and it's like.
But you're supposed to step away from those.
You're
things.
right. You're right. I got to take my own advice. But that's a good goal. And just always take time for yourself. Practice good self-care skills. If you can afford, get a massage. Do things that are good for yourself. Just spend some time in some mindful meditation, yoga, any of those kinds of things to take care of yourself, because you need to do that.
And it's easy at times to get out and walk, and other times it's not easy with the snow and the ice so we've been very fortunate having a fairly mild winter so far. And that maybe would be an incentive to get up and get moving.
Right, and do more. And, I even said, I set a goal for myself, well, I guess it was 83 days ago or 84 days ago, because today is my 85th day of running a mile or more every day.
Really?
Yeah, I've done it consecutively. A girl that I know from boot camp, her name's Patty, she inspired me because I saw on Facebook she was on day 1,400 and something in a row. And now she's over 1,500. And I said, what do you do when you're sick? And she said, I make myself do it. And so
you're doing it outside or you inside?
Outside. And so she does both, but my goal is either or, but I prefer outside. And even I've caught this little bug, I still went running, and I honestly, I felt better when I was done.
Well, yeah, you're getting the bug out of you.
Yeah, so part of it is the fresh air, the cold, whatever. I felt better. So so you can any time of the year set goals, but be realistic. We also talked before about having an accountability buddy. Tell somebody what your goal is. And then hopefully you can hold each other accountable if it's to work out or walk 3 times a week.
Hey, you haven't been out here in 3 days.
Yeah. Hey, let's go.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So yeah, that's always good stuff. So that's I guess all that. Oh, the other thing I think that's important too is this is a good time of the year to reflect. You talked about 2019. We've had good things, bad things happen, but think about the things that were good that happened to you.
Yeah.
And we all have to. There's that saying, count your blessings, because even when things are really rough, there's still something probably that's good in your life, and you need to kind of recognize what that is and be grateful for that.
Holidays, we talked about that last month. Holidays are normally pretty tough for people who've lost someone or had tragedies in the year. But now it's a fresh start, so pick yourself up, brush yourself off, and start all over again, right?
Yeah, and sometimes, I guess we have to be careful how we talk about if you've had a tragic loss or things like that, because I saw this great speaker, now I can't think of her name, but she talks about, a lot of times people say, get over it, move on.
Well, that's not that easy.
No, and you can't. You shouldn't do that.
No.
But she talks about moving forward with your grief. Your life does go on, but you move forward with it. You learn to live with it. But you don't forget about that person or, their impact on your life or any of that kind of stuff. So you don't really get over it. You move forward with it, and you learn how to do that more effectively. And I wish I could remember her name right now, but
it'll come to you in about an hour.
Yeah.
Right after you leave.
If you Google "moving forward with grief," it'll probably come up.
Okay.
She's a speaker, and she's kind of funny too.
Lots of things happen all year long for St. Clair County community mental health, and you have walks, you have luncheons, you have seminars. How do people find out about those things, besides listening to you?
Yes, you can tune into the Paul Dingaman Show once a month, or any of the other things I do, but also our Facebook and our website. Our Facebook is probably even better than even going on the website, because it gives you the quick clip and the events. And speaking of that, we do have some exciting things happening in 2020. Real quick, I want to tell you about.
Please.
One of them is we are one of the participants in the first ever Blue Water Run race series, and actually this kind of came about a day I was here, and I talked to Mike Grover. He was on the show talking about the Artful Dodger, and then I was coming on to talk about something.
Right.
But I said, hey, would you ever want to be a part of a race series? And he said, love to. So I started meeting with him and my staff, Jill. We were meeting with him and Brandy, and then we gradually got others involved in this. So there's 6 runs in this series, and the first run in the series is the YMCA's Leprechaun Loop. It's March 14th. And if you participate, and the second run is the CMH Run for Recovery, which is May 9th, 2020. Mark your calendars. You have to participate in all 6 runs to get this awesome jacket.
You get a jacket, just not a T-shirt.
Not a T-shirt. You get a jacket for doing the run series. Every run that you sign up for, you'll still get whatever they give out, whatever swag it is, T-shirts, medals, whatnot. But you will get a really cool jacket if you do the series at no extra cost. You just have to do the 6 runs. And you don't even have to run, really. Every one of those runs offers, I'm pretty sure every one of them offers a walk option. So if you just want to do the walks, or let's say you want to do the 2-mile walk in the Leprechaun and the 1-mile walk in mine, and then the 5K in the Artful Dodger, you can do different things. You just have to participate in all 6 of them. And the other great thing is...
Great idea.
I know. And I got to give credit to Mike McCartan, because he had this idea a long time ago. I mean, they do them in other parts of the state and the country, but he wanted to do it here, and we just never got it happening. But now we're doing it. And so, anyways, I lost my thought on that, what I was going to say related to. If let's say you're going to be on vacation for, and you go, well, no sense doing all those because I'm going to miss the one in November. Right. Well, you just have to register for that run ahead of time, and you do a virtual walk or run, and there'll be instructions on how to do that and submit it to Motive, who's doing the timing for all these runs, and you get the jacket.
Super.
So yeah, I think it's going to be great fun.
Next time you come, please bring the jacket, and we'll show.
Yeah, we don't exactly have the full jacket yet, but we'll be getting.
Bring the sleeves.
But I can probably bring a picture,
Oh, yeah.
and then we'll have more promotional materials. And we are still looking for, we only want 3 top sponsors for this event, $3,500 per sponsor. So if anybody listening is interested in being a sponsor, I think I have 1 almost for sure, yes.
Okay.
We need 2 more. So the sponsors are going to be paying for those jackets.
Right.
But they also get a ton of great publicity
Yep, yep.
throughout the year on various websites. Every one of our runs will be promoting them. So that's a good opportunity.
It's a great idea.
Another, I'm excited about it. Another exciting thing is, since the history of CMH, St. Clair County CMH, we have had an evening annual recognition night. So for 2020, we're going to try a new thing, and we're going to have a breakfast.
Okay, I like it.
It's going to be May 29th. It's going to be at the convention center, so we can host most of the community there.
Yep.
It's a large facility, not really the whole community, but it is a big facility. And so we're hoping to get really good participation. And so it'll be a breakfast, and so, you've been recognized by us for
Right.
your media
Yep.
support of us.
Yep.
So, that's the opportunity where we recognize people in the community, we recognize our staff. So I just want to put that out there, May 29th, save the date. It's going to be fun. And then the last thing I want to talk about for today is we are going to be assessing changing our name. We've been St. Clair County Community Mental Health since the beginning of time. I know it'll be hard for me too to say anything different, but a lot of CMHs have done that because of the big move to integrated healthcare. And also, when you think about our name, it doesn't really tell you everything that we do. We provide substance use disorder services. We provide services to kids with autism. We provide services to people with intellectual developmental disabilities. We have physical health care programs. We have a lot of different stuff. And when you hear mental health, a lot of people just think about people with mental illness.
Correct.
And that's not what we serve.
It's much broader
It's
than
much broader.
Right.
So we want a name that's more reflective of what we really do. But we will be seeking input from the community in one way or another. We'll have probably some focus groups.
I think call it Deb's Place.
Thank you, Paul. I'll think about that. But something that really does help people to know what we're really about.
It's such a broad agency, and it is difficult to describe it with 1 or 2 words.
It's very difficult.
It's a challenge for you. So, have everybody put their thinking caps on out there and try and come up with something good.
And we've looked at a lot of the other ones, and they like Wayne County.
Yeah.
They're Detroit Wayne Integrated Healthcare Network. That's their new name. They were Detroit Wayne Community Mental Health Authority before, but now they're that. A lot of places have integrated healthcare incorporated.
You help us, place.
Need help? Call us.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
But anyways, but certainly if any of the people that are watching
Yeah.
have ideas about that, love to hear the ideas. And as I mentioned, we will be seeking input from the community.
I think it's important. It's a St. Clair County Community Mental Health. Yeah, it says to me there's something on the mental side, but you do much more than that. So give people colds.
Sorry.
Well, let's work on that too, and we'll be interested.
So, and I'll keep you posted throughout the year as
yeah.
we're progressing. We haven't started anything yet. Actually, what we've started is making a big running list of everything that has to change if we change our name. From letterhead.
Well, I want to be the guy that sells you and all the banks and everybody else that merges the business cards and the stationery and the signage.
Right, that alone is.
Oh my God, it's just.
There's a lot. But at least this would only be the first name change.
Yeah, right.
So.
Is that about it?
Yeah, that's it.
Deb Johnson, thank you very much. Always
Thanks,
a pleasure.
Paul.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for watching Focus with Paul Dingeman. Focus is produced at the CTV Community Television Studios in St. Clair. For over 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter to our community.